Welcome back to Denver Links Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Lucy Donovan, and I am joined today by Jay Carmone, here to talk all things DIY music. So let's start with the basics. Are you from Denver?
I mean, I started in the Boston scene. The underground sort of rock scene there is I guess, medium compared to Denver. Maybe they're in a period of regrowth. A lot of the scene is kind of out in Western Mass. But was able to play in some bands in high school, and then some friends I made in college are also from Massachusetts and out here.
Nice.
So we were able to play some shows at home as well. And then came here and was just blown away by some of the bands that are out here, and yeah, some of the like unforeseen talent.
Yeah, definitely. So do you ever play with the friends that you have back at home?
I play with them sometimes. I think my deal with that is like I play all the instruments and in my sound along with the buddy Clay. It's the two of us. It's just really nice to play music whenever you want to play music, like on your own time. I think the downfall of so many good bands is like scheduling.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm ready to make music, I open up my computer and do what I need to do to keep pumping. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the beauty of living in this stage of technology for making your own stuff, for sure. What does that look like for you? How has the modern technology and social media impacted your journey into music?
Yeah. I don't know about social media unless you would count YouTube. So, I mean, like I'm a classic rock YouTube guy.
Nice.
Figured out GarageBand really quickly. I still record on GarageBand to this day. I'm not necessarily proud to say it, but it's something that I do.
Stick with the classics.
With the classics, what's free, right? That's as DIY as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for me, just keeping it DIY is what it's really all about.
Yeah, definitely. So what does DIY mean for you? What does your process look like when you're creating music?
Yeah, when I'm creating music, I start with drums. I'll just put down a random drum beat, and then I'll fill the song in. Like guitar comes next typically, and either bass or lyrics or synth. And it's kind of just like baking or something like that. You put together all the ingredients, and all of a sudden at the end, like an unforeseen sort of outcome comes out, and it's like a really like therapeutic process.
That's awesome. When you put your music out, do you find yourself gravitating more toward YouTube, or where does the majority of your music live once you've done?
So I'm on all streaming platforms possible. I guess to do the early plug, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. I have some music videos as well as my entire catalog is on there. Recently SoundCloud as well.
Nice.
And everywhere in between. Tidal. I don't know. Trying to think of like other niche.
Yeah.
But it's on there though.
Literally everywhere.
As far as DistroKid says.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's around that.
So you said you have some music videos. Are those all DIY as well?
Absolutely. I made some of those with my buddy Alex Brennan. Shout out Alex Brennan. He also does my live light show when I play live. He's one of the best visual jockeys in Denver. Got to give him shouts out. Like he was at the Church nightclub for a while, and I think like Temple and other clubs. So we get together. We try to like film out a random idea, and then he's very good at like sort of distorting and contorting the image to make it something cooler. And then I made a video with my buddy Eli Bucksbaum, who's out in LA. Shouts out to him. Much love. And yeah, making a music video is just as fun as the song. You can like either tell people more about what the song's about, or you can absolutely like lead them away from what you were actually trying to say.
Yeah.
And I love effing around with that. That's like one of my favorite things to do. So.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. So you mentioned a couple of names that you like to collaborate with. Do you find that for you, music is a collaborative experience for the most part?
It depends. Like, I mean, like listening in a car with your friends and everyone nodding their head, that's a collaborative experience, and that's like the end goal of music, right? So in that sense, I would say yes, but in terms of like making music, I really just prefer it to be like me and maybe one other person. So for example, my buddy C. Gilmore, he's featured and wrote and is like the main part of a bunch of different songs on a couple different albums with me. And then
That's
after
it.
that, that's too many cooks in the kitchen for me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely. Yeah. I think collaboration on a team level can be very difficult, and I think it's very special and cool to hear about just even like the littler like nature communities that people build to create their stuff.
And there's downsides to that too. Like I look at how like bands with 6 or 7 people are able to promote because they are 6 or 7 people, whereas when it's just yourself or 2 people, it's hard to get a little, the razz going, to get people psyched.
Yeah, for sure. I've never thought about that before. If you've got 6 people, you've got 6 networks versus just doing that on your own.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So As far as like live performances go and stuff, have you ventured into that?
Yeah, quite a bit. I've been really blessed. I was able to headline a show at Larimer Lounge, played a few at Lost Lake, played a few at Globe Hall, a few at your mom's house. Didn't name the venue, but that's what it's called. Bar, which was an interesting experience, and then a whole array of like backyard DIY shows. Last Halloween, I played on my roof, for example.
That's awesome.
Stuff like that. So it's been fun. It's typically just me. I did one show at home with my partner Clay, and that was cool to like kind of do it as a 2 people thing. But at the end of the day, I only have so many appendages, so part of the songs are backtracks. They're the original bass recording from the studio and the original drum recording, and I'm playing live guitar over it. So
Wow.
pretty limited in terms of what I can do there. I try to be pretty out there in terms of like, talking to the audience and stuff to try to make up for that maybe. Like I introduce every song as it was by Harry Styles. None of them are yet.
Love that.
So stuff like that. Yeah,
that's a good idea for audience engagement.
Fucking around, I don't know if I can say that. Sorry.
You can. That's loud.
Cool.
You're good. So when it comes to like booking your own shows and stuff, is that something that you do independently, or do you have a team for that?
It is. It is just me, which is an interesting topic. I love talking about booking.
Yeah.
It's really interesting what goes to the top. Like it's almost like YouTube videos and rabbit holes. Like some of the subject lines I'd imagine some of these booking venues have. Like next big act ? Like so funny. But yeah, I'm absolutely playing that game, doing it for myself. Was lucky enough to go on tour.
Yeah.
Should I say I BCC'd enough venues where I was able to go on tour?
Yeah.
This summer, which I'm super blessed for.
That's awesome.
And was hilarious in its own right. So.
How was tour? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was in like Kansas and Nebraska and Wyoming,
America's favorite places,
and New Mexico, like playing like psychedelic, like doo-wop love songs to like 30 cowboys shooting pool. Like, they were like, fuck with your music, son, don't give up. I was like, holy shit, this is so much different than what I'm used to in Denver. So, I can say I did it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the best way.
Can you say that you would do it again?
At the same places? I love them. Thanks so much for having me. I think I would just look into what I'm doing a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I think every opportunity I got, I said yes. It's like the DIY attitude in my opinion. Like, I didn't necessarily want to do that. But I was like, period, I'm just going to go to all of these.
Yeah, definitely. Good networking
It was
experience,
goofy.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
So if other artists are listening that are looking into doing, DIY stuff when it comes to their own careers, do you have any advice that you would give?
Absolutely. Just do it. Like, just put it out. Like, don't sit on it. There's like a thing called demoitis where you listen to your own demo so much that you get comfortable with it. Don't do that. Just put it out when it's raw and weird, and like keep going and figure it out as you go along. Like, I think at this point it's pretty cliche to quote Rick Rubin, but like he calls it the antenna, and it's just every now and again you could pick up a radio frequency that sounds like music, and when you get that opportunity, just like do it and think about it later.
Yeah.
Put it out. Like, just go.
Put it out. Definitely rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off. Make the scab,
Yeah.
Put a Band-Aid on it later. So, yeah.
Do you have any like inspirations that are notable in your own career, whether it be producers, other musicians, anything like that?
Yeah, like I look up to the band Ween a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're just 2 guys with a backing track, just like getting baked with your buddy and making music. I think that's what rock and roll is at its essence. As well, like Tame Impala is one person. That's the meme. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be cool to say, did you know he's just one person? But, that is inspiring when you can listen to those first 2 albums and be like, wow, one person hatched this, if you will. So I take a lot of inspiration there. And then I'm generally inspired by, like a lot of different bands in the scene, but, we'll give them shouts out later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I have never heard of, you said Ween?
Yeah, Ween.
I'll have to look them up later. I've heard of Tame Impala. That one I
can.
Okay,
beautiful.
Obviously. But is there a time, whether it be during the day or during like seasons of your life, where you find yourself most creative?
Ooh. Not necessarily like more creative. I would say just like I could wake up at 3 in the morning and have like a riff in my mind. I like have to go like I'll go into my notes app and like hum it. And then like in the morning I'll be like, oh my God, that's what I was talking about.
The true essence of
It's
DIY.
so stupid. But like so it could I guess the point of that really dumb sentence was just to say, like, I'm into like tuning into exactly when it happens.
Yeah.
If you're at a party, you gotta go home. You gotta go write that down. Like whatever. Like go to the bathroom, type in G minor, A7, whatever. Like you know, like whenever it comes, use it.
Yeah. Get it out of your brain and get it onto something you can look back at later.
It's a wave to surf. Like, get on it when it comes. Don't wait.
Definitely. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So, your music journey, how old would you say? Were you a musician from birth kind of guy, or what's your journey?
I was getting into a lot of fights in elementary school at like after school care, you know, like you stay after school. So they made me take guitar lessons.
Oh wow.
And my mom was like, this kid doesn't want to play like Yankee Doodle and like when the Saints come marching in, like teach him like AC/DC and like stuff like that. And just loved it, picked it up like on YouTube from there. And then got to middle school. Guitar was not like in the middle school music catalog, whatever. So I picked up the drums there. And then if you can play guitar, you can play like crappy DIY bass. So I'm just hanging on for dear life there. And then, you know, layer things in background vocals and things start sounding good.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's like that's the piece of the pie, you know?
Well, it sounds like we may have one instance where discipline actually worked in school.
Yeah, I guess so. True.
And as far as live performances go, do you have any pre-show rituals that you maintain?
Ooh. I like ritualistically do something different before every show. So I've had shows where like I sit in the bathroom and like hide before the show and like get all nervous, like Mom's Spaghetti vibes. I have shows where I'm like out there, like at the front of the door, like welcome, like come on in, like shows where I drink, shows where I don't, shows where I open with a rap song that like I don't really have any business covering, or like a Rage Against the Machine song. I like to start it off on a weird, just kind of like, why did that kid do that type of vibe?
Yeah.
So yeah, like ritualistically, I'm just like sampling what I had the best show when I did this. So maybe that's what works for me. Yeah. But I don't know yet.
Have you seen your journey and your style with live performance and just in your own music? Have you seen it change drastically over time, or do you think you've stayed on sort of a steady path?
Relatively steady, just because I'm one person. I think that makes it tough to like really like get a stylistic change, especially when there's background tracks. Like, I don't know, I wore like an MF Doom mask on stage and no shirt my first couple of shows, because I was like, I don't want it to be about the looks. I want it to be about the music, which like, it's not to say I'm good looking. I think I just more so didn't want people to see when I like messed up the faces I would make.
Understandable.
But, I guess that changed.
Yeah. Do you see any sort of, where do you see your style progressing into? Do you have any like long or short term goals with your music style in particular?
In terms of style, I think like to be ever changing is the coolest style. I think that's part of like the Ween influence, or maybe like the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard influence is just like everything should be different the whole time because I'm feeling different every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If you just felt the same every day, it'd be like Groundhog Day. Yeah. So this next album, I would say just generally is going to be a lot more sad and have a little bit less like macho energy that like the last one had.
Okay.
But the next one might be hip hop or jazz or both or neither. And like, I think that's tight. Like, not knowing what's going to come next.
With those kind of changes, do you think that it reflects like the season of life that you're in, or do you think it reflects more the inspirations that you're taking at the time?
Yes.
Both of them?
Like, absolutely both, right? Like, what are you taking in? How are you feeling? How are you responding to what you're taking in? Could be different. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you surround yourself with a lot of other musicians? Do you have musicians in your family and your friend group like that?
I have friends and family that love music, and I have a couple close friends that are musicians.
Yeah.
A couple close ones. But mostly I just like the opinion of like random people. Like to poll random, like this friend hates this type of music. Let's see what he thinks about it. Oh, she hates this. Like let's You know,
Yeah.
let's see how it's like to get a reaction to some extent, but it's music, so it's never negative.
When you're looking to pull random opinions like that, do you stick to mostly people that you know, or are you ever a person who's going out and like asking strangers to listen to your music?
I definitely ask strangers to listen to my music, but I think I would listen to what they say potentially less because I don't know them, their musical character. That's pretentious, but just like where they're coming from, like what they're all about.
Yeah.
If I knew that, then I'd value it more, maybe.
That makes sense.
But also, it's like every artist says, even though they probably half-heartedly mean it, like you do have to do it for yourself. Like you can pay attention to how many streams you have this month on Spotify or whatever, but you should be doing it for yourself. So I poll all these people, but I don't change what I'm doing. I'm just seeing like, oh, this is causing this reaction. Interesting. Like that's not. It's always different than what I personally perceive it to be. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the best way to do it.
It's fun.
So when it comes to promotion and stuff like that, do you stick to a DIY type of vibe for that as well, or do you outsource it all, or what does promotion look like for you?
No, just me. Instagram, posters.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. Good old word of mouth. Carrier pigeon. No, mostly like Instagram, and I think like the best way to get people to come is just to like ask people and then like get their number. I do that all the time. I'll just shoot pool with a random person like, hey, you like rock? Cool, I have a show tomorrow. Like, you should come on by, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. That could also be such a networking opportunity that you might never see coming.
New listeners, organic growth, you know?
Definitely.
All the cliches.
When it comes to live performance, do you have an absolute favorite aspect of it?
The element of surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it be the song you're playing or what you say or what you mean or what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. However you can break some kind of stereotype or some barrier or just kick ass in your own right. Like, that's so righteous. Like, yeah.
Do you have a least favorite part of it?
Opening? No, I'm just kidding. No. I think maybe some of the way that some venues structure their ticket sales, you have to sell the tickets yourself. It's always kind of awkward to like, the last text you have to someone is from like 6 months ago, like, yo, you should come to my show. And then it's just the next thing you say.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that part is really awkward. Like the diminishing return side of things. Yeah. Maybe green rooms. No.
Understandable. I've been in quite a few of those as well. You think they're going to be a lot more glamorous than they
it's
usually
like not
are.
very cool.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Definitely. Have you ever, like, with a creative passion like this, have you ever found yourself sort of settling into lulls at certain times?
All the time.
Yeah. How do you get yourself out of that?
I don't know. Dang. This is like a therapy. No. I think like it just comes or it doesn't, and just like not getting frustrated if it's been a long period of time where like something isn't coming is like key. And just like could be 6 months later. It could be at 3 a.m. like I said. Yeah, just knowing that it comes in waves and to ride the wave when you get it, like, is like, you know, could be no swells for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all good. Ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Yeah. Do you find yourself having to like push through in times where it gets really hard, or is it more of like you're so passionate about it that it kind of just like waves back to you?
I definitely am like trying the push through thing. I think for the first time, I just like have not been getting as much done as of recent. So I've been setting these fake deadlines. Like, okay, the bass needs to be done by next Tuesday, and I need the rhythm guitar, by next Wednesday at 12 p.m. And then I just like end up doing a good take just by like that I maybe wouldn't have. I don't know. It sounds really dumb, but just like setting like fake deadlines. Like this thing can come out whenever it needs to, but I'm recording it now, another one, and I'm like trying to push through.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like with any creative pursuit, like I'm a writer, so I'm literally producing drafts all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if I know that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to hate whatever I'm going to write because I'm in a bad mood and whatever, at least it's down on paper and at least whatever shit is happening in my brain is like out of it now.
You could build on it later. Too,
yeah.
Right? Like that kind of feeling. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely. So with DIY music, do you find that there's like an overarching hard part of sort of being the one that you're relying on?
I think just like the standing out aspect. Like not everyone's going to end up being Alex G. and just like come out of like SoundCloud by themselves. Like, I don't know, just kind of like standing out in a sea of endless DIY. Now that everyone has access to GarageBand and Pro Tools and Ableton, now everyone, which I encourage, but everyone is going to come out with a million albums. And how do you stand out? You have to be extra excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any ways in particular that you find yourself gravitating toward trying to be extra excellent? Is there any way, like specific ways that you push yourself?
I think about music like ice cream all the time. It's like the dumbest analogy. I say this to my friends all the time, but like there's vanilla ice cream and everyone knows what that tastes like. There's chocolate ice cream, everyone knows what that tastes like. What if you made a flavor? This sounds so dumb, but like what if you made a flavor or a combination of flavors that you hadn't tasted before?
Yeah.
That's like the whole focus. It's like, okay, why make vanilla ice cream? Or like this thing, you can look up any song of all time on this device. Just like being at the Ben and Jerry's factory or something. You can get any flavor of all time. Do not choose vanilla. Don't make vanilla. Vanilla's already been done.
Yeah.
Do something that's you. Or like even if it's something that exists, like make it your own spin on it. Like,
yeah, definitely. I think that analogy makes a lot of sense.
So like the excellence part, like what ties into that?
Yeah.
Just like it doesn't have to be excellent. It should just not be vanilla. Like, you know, I think that's the only metric that matters.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. And I could see it being one of the more difficult aspects of being a musician in general, just trying to not stick to the status quo and sort of figuring out what the status quo is at the time that you're entering. So with recording music, when you're sort of a DIY artist, what does that process look like for you?
Yeah, so I have a 2-bedroom, but it's just me. 1 bedroom is where the drum kit sleeps and all the recording equipment, and the other one I. Mic up the drums. Everything else goes into a MIDI, just like everything that we have sitting here.
Yeah.
And it looks a lot like this. It's chords and plugs and just whatever you need to get by and get the sound out there.
How long have you been recording your own music?
Since high school, but started putting it out and like, not that I'm like taking it seriously, but like okay, this is like a thing. I'm going on tour. I'm putting it on Spotify. That has been like a year and a half at this point.
Okay, cool. Are you feeling sort of more confident with that now? Has your journey, has the practice of doing it made you more confident in it?
Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah. Especially in the recording. I think the recording aspect, first of all, this is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done for my music career. Like talking about my music is way scarier than playing it, recording it, being live, whatever. But I would also just say like, well, what was the exact way the question was phrased? I'm sorry.
Have you seen over the last year and a half when you've been recording your own music? Do you think it's the practice, the doing it over and over and over again that makes you more confident?
I've tried so many different things now at this point that I think I like where I'm sounding now.
Yeah.
Like it's ever evolving. There's always things to learn. I'm like, just progressing. Everything hopefully is getting exponential.
Yeah.
Just getting a little easier and, hopefully by the end it'll just be.
Yeah, definitely.
Spotless. But yeah, so far so good. Getting better. Repetition is everything in music and recording.
When you were starting to take this sort of music passion more seriously in the way of like playing your own shows and recording your own music and stuff, was there something specific that made you want to go the more DIY route rather than sort of try for collaboration or like the more studio recording sessions?
Sort of. I was in a band in college and we were really supposed to kick off all of our stuff right as everything got shut down for COVID. And then everyone kind of dispersed. The guitarist in that band ended up like not playing guitar for a long time. The drummer sold me his drum kit, which I still use currently for the Carmone project. Like everyone kind of split up and I was like, all right, well, I have all these songs and we were like gonna do this, so I'm gonna just do it myself. I can already play the drums. Now I have the drum kit. Shout out Matt Krause selling me the drum kit. Now I have the drum kit. Let me just take a stab at this.
Yeah.
And, see what recording's all about.
Definitely. Was there any sort of hesitation when you decided to venture out on your own? Was that like a very nerve-wracking experience for you?
I think yeah. More so putting out the first album and like on the back end of Spotify, you can like see the stats and just be like, damn, like people like listen to like what I don't know, I put my heart out there and people like heard it and like you don't get like likes or anything really. It's just kind of like listens. It's like,
Yeah, no
well,
feedback.
how do they feel?
Just views.
Yeah, it's like okay, so people saw it. Did that go well? And I don't know, it varies out. So
Yeah, definitely. So
yeah.
you've been doing this.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I could see that.
More so than playing live. Playing live, you know exactly how everyone's feeling right then and there because you're looking. You can hear
see it
them.
on their faces.
Yeah, you can hear them. You know.
Have you had a favorite show so far that you've played live?
Yeah, I played a show at Lost Lake for the Great Salmon Famine. I opened up for them. Such a tight band name. Good for them.
I love that.
But like most of my buddies were there, and they had a bunch of people there too. So, and it was just like a poppin' show. It was really fun. Played like a rap song at the end, and like definitely like messed up the vibe on purpose. I was chuckling to myself. I headlined one at Lost Lake at Larimer Lounge as well with Bruja and Jewel House, and I love both of those bands, and it was sick to play with them. Like Larimer Lounge is my favorite venue, so that one meant the world to me. A bunch of my rugby buddies came out and were out there. It was a good time. I got to stage dive, I crowd surfed, whatever.
That's so cool. I've always wanted to know what that felt
It was like checklist. And,
what was
tour.
that like? Tell us about that.
It's a lot of hands on you. It's really, you know, if you're not a touchy person, it's the last thing I would recommend.
Yeah.
Feels like, yeah. It was not that cool. But
like tentacles coming out.
it was cool that, yeah, I'm like pretty heavy. So like that was pretty cool. Enough people were there to like.
Were you scared they were gonna drop you?
100%. I was like
too.
I was like holding my head like no. No, but yeah.
So when you're playing live, do you play the same set list for the most part, or does it change every time?
Every single time. I try to change up. Never like two songs in the same combo. There's like a song I sometimes end with every time, but that's sort of changing as the catalog expands.
Is there any rhyme or reason for what you pick to be on your set list based on where you're playing?
I don't know. Maybe subconsciously.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't think so.
Just picking your favorites at the
They're
time?
all kind of the same 200, 500 person. Like, they're all kind of, I don't know. The vibe is like very similar. Actually, like 3 out of the 5 places I've played, I think are owned by the same company.
Oh, that's
cool. It's like Larimer, Globe, and Lost Lake.
Yeah.
So they're like, I mean, they're the same thing in different neighborhoods with some small pluses and minuses here and there.
So when you were picking your set list, is there like a process that you have for that, or is it just kind of whatever you want to play at the time?
I try to go like high energy, low energy, high energy, low energy. Oh, and then start and end with something that had nothing to do with what I was playing.
Yeah.
The whole time, just to be really weird.
Do you find yourself interacting with the audience while you're on stage a lot?
All the time. I think maybe one of the shows where I potentially had too many refreshments before our show. I told my buddy he was being so loud in the front. I just go, "Yo, Francisco, can you please shut the fuck up?" And I was like, "Dang, I like can't break that wall. I like shouldn't do that anymore." And I learned a lesson really quick. Like that's just like
yeah. Do you find yourself learning lessons on stage a lot?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And like, yeah, even backstage too. Like I try to chat up the bands I'm opening for. In the one case where people will open for me, like, chat them up and just pick brains and learn more about people and their process and what works for them. Imagine similar to podcasting, but like that's a huge element beyond. Like I said, I don't play with a band, so it's really just keeping up with the metronome type of deal. So
yeah, definitely.
Not too much growth. So
you've been at this for a while. What would you tell your younger self at this point?
Oh my God, put out all that crap earlier. Google how to get it on online. Like everything's an email away. You know, mom and dad taught you how to use email, so email venues and ask to play and just do it. Get your friends to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any actual regrets when it comes to your music journey so far?
Maybe like the first album, I wish I just like took a little more time. I think I was so like giddy. I was like, oh my God, it's getting close to done. I just like put it out. I think it sounds like notably a little bit less well recorded. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. But other than that, everything is like absolute cherry on the top bonus. The fact that I get to make music and people listen to it is everything. And like getting to play live and like, having merch and being on a podcast, like, whoa, this is like real. Like, what?
It's so real.
Super cool. Yeah. It sounds so dumb. Yeah, sorry. Totally.
No, I
like,
get
yeah,
that.
it's real. It's getting real.
It is hard to really take things in while they're happening, I feel like.
It's cool though. Appreciate everyone that's helped me to get here. It's meant a lot. It's cool. Yeah, everything's good.
So when you're doing music, do you ever find it difficult to sort of balance that with the other aspects of your life?
Yeah, 100%. I live a busy life. I try to make music the priority, but like I said, it's an antenna, and some days the signal's not coming in. Just have to respect that and use that time to go do everything else.
Yeah.
Work, whatever, chores, family. I play sports still. I play rugby.
Oh,
Shout out
cool.
Queen City. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very cool that you're sort of delving into passions and more than just, the creative musical
Oh,
life.
I have so much fun. It's like, yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have any like shorter term goals music-wise right now?
I want to headline a couple more shows in Denver. There's also some venues who I haven't heard back from yet. Wink, wink. I'm hoping to just play at a couple other venues, get this album out, continue with music videos, go viral. No,
Yeah. As usual.
All the normal stuff. No, I think just to keep the boat afloat, in the sense of just like keep putting out content like fervently.
Yeah.
Continuously working.
For sure.
Bury your head in the sand, work. But
yeah. So I know we mentioned social media a little bit earlier, and you mentioned that YouTube was a part of your process, but do you use other social media platforms much?
I'm on Instagram pretty frequently. I have Snapchat, but get your mind out of there.
No promo on Snapchat?
No music content there. No, mostly just Instagram, and then I have a website, just jcarmone.com. There's updates there, pictures and merch.
That's awesome.
Shoot me an email. I think it has that capability. And you can find all my music.
Do you want to plug your Instagram right now?
Yeah, j.carmone, Carmone. It's on YouTube. That's my Instagram. jcarmone.com with no dot. And I think that's where I am.
Awesome. So one last question to sort of finish this out after the promos. Do you have any longer term goals that you're headed in the direction of that you'd like to tell people about?
Yeah. I would love to get signed to a record label.
Yeah.
Which is not very DIY of me to say. Hopefully it'd be a DIY record label. No, I think long-term goals, like I just want to be rich and famous and conquer the world, and like I mean it. I think that's the whole point. People like lie and say like, guys, I kind of hinted at this earlier. Like every musician's like, I just do it for me. Like you gotta just do it for me. Like no, I want everyone to hear my music. I want to be an industry I just want to be a plant.
Industry plant.
Yeah,
that's your
like,
goal.
Put me in. Like put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Manifestations for your future self.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like if you're listening to this, like I'm like, email me, dude. we'll get something going. Plant me in there. No, just want to keep having fun, and I'm thankful for every second of every day doing this.
Well, I can't wait until you're an industry plant, and I can say I was the first one to have you on the pod. Any other things you want to plug? Any other things you want to say before we head out?
Hey, Grandma. Hey, Mom. Yeah, album coming out. Hopefully, like Valentine's Day is the target date. Just was on sessions with Jewel Ave, which is some of the guys from Jewel House and Friends. Check that out on YouTube. And, if you're streaming this on Spotify, you clearly have time. So give me some streams if you don't mind, maybe a follow.
And you're J Carmone on
J Carmone, yep.
Awesome.
And yeah.
And you said you have merch too, right?
I have merch. I have stickers and T-shirts. And bendy straws are coming soon.
Oh, exciting stuff.
So for, milkshakes at night.
On the come up.
And lighters as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
For candles.
Piece.
So,
right.
Yeah, for candles. And, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Seriously, it means the world.
Thank you so much for coming on. I love this
Big
conversation.
Fan.
Big fan right back.
Oh, my God.
This is Denver Links Podcast. This has been awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been J Carmone, and we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye, man.